is being mistreated. How dare you? You have to explain yourself a number of times. I think it's enough that he's getting food and not paying for it. I don't think he needs a toy. Yeah, they'll get out their phone, they'll video you because they want to show this to everybody on social media. Did you see the lady who didn't want the toy? Poor kid. Thanks for joining me. I'm Dr. Ray. Walk with God. That's the best stuff you're going to get.
For information on Dr. Ray's presentations, books, and CDs, visit drray.com and follow him on Facebook. The Doctor is In is a co-production of Ave Maria Radio and EWTN Radio and carried across the EWTN Global Catholic Radio Network.
Celebrating the culture of life. This is the Guadalupe Radio Network. Radio for your soul.
I've been listening to Guadalupe Radio for a couple years now, and I think it was a bumper sticker I saw on somebody's car one time, and it's a radio station that I don't have to be concerned about or worried about. When the kids and I are driving, I don't have to worry about inappropriate items. It's just the opposite. It's educational. I've learned so many different topics and on different subjects that I couldn't believe being a Catholic and being baptized as a child. There's so many things I didn't know, and now in these past couple of years that I've been listening in, I've learned.
Do you want to grow closer to God in prayer, overcome temptation, become a better Catholic, grow in holiness in your state in life, and just want to be a happier person? Hi, this is Father Sam Medley from the Society of Our Lady of the Most Holy Trinity, host of a weekly program, A Life Lived Joyfully, brought to you by the Guadalupe Radio Network. Join me on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays as we dive into the Catholic Daily Mass readings as the basis for this call to holiness, 3 p.m. Central and 4 p.m. Eastern.
Do you want a faith-filled Catholic community where your child will thrive? Discover Immaculate Conception Catholic School in Denton, where your child will receive the very best spiritual foundation, along with excellence in education. ICCS serves 250 students ages 3 through 8th grade. Whether it's living the Rosary, the celebration of the Mass, or the formation of saints, scholars, musicians, and athletes, Our Lady School is the place to be. For more information, call 940-381-1155 to arrange a tour or visit CatholicSchoolDenton.org.
At first, it felt like a relief.
I thought I would forget about it with time.
I was not prepared to accept the responsibility.
Then, things changed.
I felt anger, and things started going wrong everywhere.
The depression wouldn't let me be who I used to be.
Are you a man suffering due to a loss from an abortion decision? You are not alone. There are people who can help at ProjectJosephDallas.org.
I realized I had lost my child.
I felt like I couldn't be forgiven.
Now it's been years and years of this.
Don't suffer alone. Visit ProjectJosephDallas.org. A message from Project Joseph of Dallas, a ministry for men who have suffered the experience of abortion.
Welcome to Back to the Father, a show about the journey of life focused on our final end, which is God Himself, our loving Father. And now here's your host, Dave Palmer.
Why not? All right. Yeah, thanks, everybody, and welcome to Back to the Father. This is a program where we talk specifically about St. Thomas Aquinas' Summa Theologica, some aspect of it. We have a lot of fun, and gosh, this has been such a crazy day. In a good way, here at the North Texas office, there is so much going on, so many moving parts and crazy stuff going on. But we are here, and this is the very, very, very last program to ever emanate from this studio and office here in Las Colinas, where we are. And I got you know, it's a little sentimental. I don't know. Let me just introduce everybody. Cicely Anderson here with headscarf, not a hat.
Headscarf, bandana. Yeah, it was with all the things happening today. I was like, I can't have a hat. I packed up all my hats. Actually, they're all packed up.
I just can't have.
They're
a
all
hat.
like in boxes, like the ones behind
Couldn't
me.
you have one behind? I mean,
no, I could not. Not even the chicken hat.
That would have been appropriate as the last show. Is bring that chicken hat back out. And this is William Kirkendall. He's our intern, and he keeps all the social media going, and we appreciate his help very much. We're on YouTube, we're on Facebook, and we're on Twitter. And if you're out there watching the program in any one of those platforms, let us hear from you. Let us know that you're there. We'd like to know that we're not just doing this, for each other's sake, that there's actually somebody out there. Got a lot of exciting news to report. This morning was the day that the car raffle winner was drawn, and that was pretty exciting. I know I was watching, and I know Sissel was, and Diane as well. That's Diane Xavier on the other side of the glass. She produces the program. She takes calls if you want to call in. It'd be kind of crazy. It's been a crazy day. Maybe we'll get a call. 877-757-9424. So, all right, first of all, the topic today, if you get the email that Sissel sends out, it basically was in keeping with the theme of the passion and death and resurrection of Jesus during this season of Lent. It was, what do we say? Why did Jesus die when he died and where he died?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so why was it historically in that particular moment? And it turns out Thomas goes into a lot of depth about that, like the exact time. And I'm just going to hone in on one aspect of it, which was basically why that age, there's a lot more to it, but for the sake of time, I'm not going to get too much into it. And why Jerusalem? There's 4 reasons he gives why it was appropriate for Christ to die in Jerusalem. I'm going to put you all on the spot and see if you can figure out why Jerusalem, why not, I don't know, what were the other cities?
Rome.
Rome.
Yeah.
Why not, I don't think Irving, Texas was a thing back then. But
if it had been, that's definitely where it would have been.
Yeah, I mean, it could have been Egypt. It could have been...
Babylon,
Iraq, or a lot of those places existed. Or so, anyways, so that'll be that. But then before that, we're going to talk about in the Summa Theologica, and this is a video I did for YouTube last night. It's about 80% in. I don't know if we've talked about this specifically, but about it before Thomas introduces Jesus Christ. There's a lot of stuff that he introduces before he even mentions Jesus Christ. Have we talked about that before on this show? I hope not. Okay.
I don't think so.
Even if we did, you probably forgot.
Clearly
okay.
I did.
All right. Diane never forgets anything. So anyway, so that's that. And so I see maybe a couple people are starting to jump on. So we appreciate you being on.
Buddy's here, and he says hi and happy Lent.
All right. Good to hear from you, buddy. So the things that are happening today is that, first of all, this is our moving day pretty much. Tomorrow officially.
Penultimate moving day?
Moving Eve.
Moving Eve, yeah.
So tomorrow we're moving offices. And we're moving about a half a mile to the east. So basically the same street, but just on the other side of O'Connor, if you're familiar with North Texas. And so the whole last week or so has been boxing, for me, the last 4 hours. But with the help of my wife.
You can see our beautiful boxes behind me.
Yeah, that's right.
That's basically what our studio looks like right now.
So we're moving into a really cool office. I don't know how long it's going to take until we have a show. I don't think we'll have one next week.
I am not sure. You definitely want to be on our email list. If you're not, there's a possibility our studio will be up and running by then, but our engineer has to break all this down and move it over there. So we'll need to figure that out.
Yeah. So the other thing, as I mentioned, this morning, the winner of the car raffle was drawn. And I'll tell you, that's a really kind of crazy moment for me because all the various offices of the GRN spend 7 weeks just feverishly selling raffle tickets, visiting parishes, doing live remotes. And it's a lot of work. And there's a lot that goes into it. And it all comes down to this one moment, where, literally thousands and thousands of these stubs are in this big bin. And then they go on live. And every year it's always Lisa Martinez who, spins it around. This morning, Josefa was with us. And Samuel Rodriguez, our president, was doing the play-by-play. It comes down to that one moment when you find out. And I don't know how about you, but it's...
Oh, I was anxious. I was like, who is it going to be? Is it going to be a name you recognize? Is it going to be a name you just don't know? And then, of course, they say the name, and then we're also like waiting for, where are you from? Where are they from? And then they said 817, and we were like, that means North Texas.
Yeah, most likely. Wow. Yeah, you got... And I think every general manager would want somebody from his market to have won. It's just natural that you're kind of rooting for the home team, I guess, so to speak. So yeah, I was very excited. So it's a gentleman by the name of Flavio Mesa, and all that Sammy said. It's so funny. Do you notice that you didn't watch it? You were just listening.
I was listening to it. Yeah.
Lisa Martinez, God bless her. She reaches in with her left hand. She pulls out the winner, and she hands it to Sammy, but she never looked at it. Could you have had that much restraint?
No.
I would have at least done like this and
like what's letters? What
yeah,
numbers?
right. But if you watch the video, she did not look at it before she handed it to Sammy. Wow. So Sammy was the first one to see the winner, and he said, "Flavio, 817." And I don't think Sammy at the time knew what 817.
Yeah, I think Adrian said, I think had done a quick research, and he goes, I think that's Fort Worth. And Sammy's like, well, I don't want to speculate if we're not for sure. And I was texting Adrian like, yeah, it is Fort Worth. Like, it is us.
Yeah. I knew right away. So that's pretty excited. So Flavio came into the studio. Do we have a picture of him to put up? Yes. And you'll see, I presume, I'm not sure if this is me and him or what this is. But he's just a regular, ordinary guy. He came in with his wife. They worship at All Saints Parish in Fort Worth, which is one of the parishes that they always lets us come in. I'm so excited to let them know, because I bet the parish may not even know yet that. Yeah. And it's a largely Hispanic parish in Fort Worth, very close to downtown Fort Worth. But there he is. He had to take a day off work, and so did his wife, and came up here, and we met him, and. Good guy. So he bought 2 tickets. Imagine that. Wow. 2 tickets out of probably over 10,000 in the bin.
Oh, I'm sure. And I love how he just said that Dave did a little interview with him, and he just said, well, we always like to support whatever group is coming in. And his wife listens quite a lot, and he was just like, so we just supported. They had no idea what that would turn into, that $50, that they did.
Good investment. Good
Indeed.
Investment. So that's going on. And then the other exciting thing that happened this morning, we have a show here called Undivided Intention, hosted by Jeff Scheffelbein and Paul Kolker. And Sissel, unbeknownst to me, had arranged with the leaders of the Catholic pro-life community to come in and make some announcement. And they said that they wanted me to be in the studio for some reason. And I'm like, whatever. It's Jeff's show. They're going to make an announcement. Why do I need to be in there? So I came in. I put my headphones on. I was just like, okay, I'm just going to bide my time here. And they ended up announcing that at their March 25th CPLC Bishops Pro-Life Dinner, I'm going to get an award for the Pro-Life Person of the Year, the Father Edward Robinson Pro-Life Person of the Year. And the interesting thing about that is that Father Edward Robinson he passed away many years ago, but he was one of my early mentors, and I used to go to his office at the Dominican Priory when he was in his 90s, and I used to ask him questions about the Summa and St. Thomas Aquinas, and he was very, very bright. And the joke is that he was actually a student of St. Thomas because the father was so old. But I have such fond memories, and to receive an award that's named after him is quite amazing. So that was that. And so I thank Geraldine and Frank and Bobby and everybody at the CPLC. And please, if you are in North Texas, or if you can come to the event, their website is prolifedallas.org. prolifedallas.org, and we'd love to see you on the 25th. And I needless to say, I'm going to be there.
Nah, I don't think he is. I'll go into your place, Dave. Don't worry. I'll accept the award in your place.
Right, because I had something else to do. Kind of like the people who don't win the Oscars, but somebody else.
He comes and gets it.
Yeah, because they had something more important to do that night than show up at the Academy Awards to win the Oscar.
It was a crazy morning. I'm so glad that the stress of keeping that a secret for the last 4 days has been weighing on my mind.
Yeah, it is tough, isn't it? So you think you're going to... The only thing that possibly kind of raised a flag is a couple of times this week you went into your office and you closed the door.
Oh,
and you're on phone calls. And I was like, oh, that's a little weird. I mean,
I was. Because, I was hoping if you asked, I had a backstory and everything I was going to tell you. I had a whole plan.
What was oh, really?
Yeah, that, it was just a private conversation I need to have with my family or something. I had all sorts of, I had all the stories
what
ready.
What would Aquinas say about lying?
I know. I was thinking all week about that too. I was like, oh, sorry, St. Thomas. Sorry, St. Thomas.
But then you could have said, oh, Dave, what else talking to Geraldine about is they're going to surprise you on Friday morning.
Right. Yeah, I just told you. Yeah, it was so funny. We weren't even sure originally if we were going to do that live on the air, by the way. It was my idea to do it live on the air, and they were a little nervous. They're like, "Will Dave be okay with that?" I was like, "Are you kidding me? Dave would love to have it live on the air. He would be so disappointed if we didn't. Would you not have been disappointed if I told you, oh, I thought about doing it live, but we didn't decide not to? Would you have been like,
But there's a lot of moving parts. You had to get Jeff to agree to it.
Oh, yeah.
Jeff was not doing the show on his typical week, and so I think I love live radio. I think it's a lot of fun. So I think it was done well, and I hope I get to return the favor. So you got to work in Catholic radio about 20 years before you start getting awards.
Yeah, that's
so.
It's okay.
What's the biggest honor you guys have ever had? Or is there ever a time that you were, kind of put in the spotlight and either won something or recognized or something like that? What would it be?
Yeah, I think the one that comes to mind would be the when I made it to regionals last January. Me and my sister were doing a debate team policy, so they announced there's probably generally about 40 people at these tournaments in this specific debate category, and they call on only 16 teams, 16 names, and some are paired like their siblings or they're paired with friends, depending on who they're paired with throughout the season. But I had my sister this year as my partner, and we had our name called 3 or 4 names in, and we just looked at each other in shock, and we're like, wow, I was not expecting us to win as many rounds as we did, because if they announce you've probably either had a 6-0 record, a 5-1 record, or a 4-2 record. So to think that we actually did that well at a tournament was kind of amazing.
What was your record?
Our record was 4-2.
4-2. Okay, so you're kind of the lower end of the ones that might expect to possibly be
right. We
awarded.
won. We won 15th place when they had the award ceremony on Saturday evening. But that's.
Was that just like last month, or was that a year ago?
That was last month. Early January 2023.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, congratulations on that.
Thank you.
Still fresh in your mind.
Yes.
And Sissel, how about you? Greatest honor you've ever received?
I don't know which was the greatest. All I can think of are academic things, achievements sort of stuff, so I won a couple of essay scholarship competitions. One with the diocese. I did win one with the Fort Worth Diocese that got me to go to the March for Life. A scholarship to go to the March for Life. So that was pretty cool. I won Audience Choice Award at my school's for my documentary at my school's video awards. So, but to be fair, I had a lot of friends watching, so I don't think to me that's not because it was just
you have a lot of friends.
That's what good. It was. So basically, my honor was I have a lot of friends. I mean, I think the documentary was definitely good, but I definitely think that a lot of my friends shared it, and so I think a lot more of my friends voted than other people's friends voted. Yeah. So I don't know if that one's the best, but I also won one for the Knights of Columbus, a scholarship. That one was pretty fun. That was great because I got out of having to give a speech or anything where usually you're supposed to, but I was helping with a retreat that weekend, and I was like, ha! So my parents had to receive an award for me, and I was like, even better.
And you got out of having to do the talk.
Because it's so awkward. I want to be able to sit there and say thank you, but you're just also, because because I've been to it since then for other people who've received that award, and they just talk about, oh, they do this and this and that. And I'm like, oh, please don't talk about what I do.
Yeah, I've actually gone through this morning a lot of different emotions since I found out. And you start thinking about the people that at least in your mind, have done a lot more? Because this is a pro-life world. The people that are out at the abortion clinic, day in and day out, and they're very unrecognized. And granted, when you're in radio, you get a lot of recognition. You get a lot of attaboys and hey, thanks, and so it's all. Again, I don't want to harp on that because it sounds ungrateful, but it makes you realize that the unsung heroes and the people who are doing the day-to-day grind out there, praying and being out there, and so it's a great honor, and no one ever probably feels deserving of.
No, I don't think so.
If you do, you probably shouldn't have gotten the award.
Right? You're like,
time. You picked the right guy.
It's about time.
It's about time. So, Diane, how about you? Real quickly, then I promise you, everybody, we'll get to St. Thomas Aquinas. Any big award or recognition that you've received?
Oh, in high school, I would always win so many awards for my writing for the newspaper. I was even featured on the Dallas Mavericks, one of their games, when I got to be the high school reporter for the day.
That's cool.
Oh, wow. As a big sports fan, that's a big deal for you, isn't
yes,
it?
It is. But
yeah, that's cool. So you were highly recognized when you were, especially in your high school years, huh?
Yeah, but I was after awards. Then now I'm in the real world. I'm like, I've got bills to pay, so I haven't really gone on after
awards. Don't pay his bills, apparently.
That is so true. All right, I see. Adrian said I won Class Clown. I wonder if he actually won an award called Class Clown. And since Adrian is with us, I want to mention, the announcement of the winner was given on Catholic Drive Time this morning. But if you listen to Adrian during the 6:30 to 7 o'clock hour this morning, it was like Aquinas. And did you, I don't know if you heard it or not.
I only heard a little bit of it.
He was talking about syncretism, and I guess there was a cardinal in the Catholic Church that had, and Adrian can tell me if I get some of this wrong, I guess kind of went into a Jewish synagogue and was kind of like worshiping, and they're, and he was quoting St. Thomas Aquinas as saying, you're not supposed to do that, and Adrian for the whole half hour was saying, we need to lean on, the giant of St. Thomas Aquinas. But the reason he said it was so important, and I guess he was quoting this from Aquinas, is that he said, we love the Jewish people, and there are, our forefathers in faith, and of course the Christianity spawned from Judaism, and Jesus was a Jew, and Mary, and but he said the Jewish faith, by its very nature, is looking forward to a Messiah, right? That's the whole point of the Jewish faith, was to prepare. That's what all the prophets did, and their rituals was all in preparation for something to come. So to continue to be involved in Jewish liturgy is not appropriate. And Adrian can tell me if I
he says
represented that well.
He says it's way worse than what you're saying, but basically right.
Yeah, he did say that Aquinas said it's a sin. I mean, and I'll admit, have you guys like the Seder meals?
Yes,
I've done Seder meals before, and I've heard before that Aquinas would say you don't do that because a Seder meal is a Jewish tradition, and it became kind of popular. I haven't done it in many years, but it became popular to kind of reenact that on, I guess it's Holy Thursday.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, and but I think Aquinas and what Adrian was talking about, Adrian even mentioned the Seder meal, is that this is a Jewish tradition, So anyways, I thought it was well done in the show this morning. So
really random, but I actually did a Messianic Jewish dance class with a group at a Jewish Messianic Jewish conference. So the Messianic Jewish, they're the people.
The Messianic, so they're
basically Christians, but they want to keep all the Jewish tradition, but they believe that Christ.
Yeah, I wonder why. I'd be interested in Adrian's thought on Messianic Jews because, in one sense, great. I mean, you recognize Christ as the Messiah, but why don't you let go of the past?
Right.
And I know guys like Roy Showman and a friend of mine, Mark Drogan, who was Jewish and then came into the fulfillment of Judaism in the Catholic faith. But they're still culturally and ethnically Jewish. I don't know quite what what are they still allowed to hold on to, and what do they need to let go of?
Right.
But that might be a.
Adrian says that he's had gotten in intense arguments with those guys. So I just was a friend of mine was going to this conference, and she was like, "Want to take a Messianic Jewish dance class?" And I was like, "Sure."
Yeah.
So I did. That was like years ago before I was Catholic, but it was pretty funny. Sorry, continue as you were.
Please do. All right, so let's get right into it. And I think Adrian and Buddy and other people who are watching this right now. First slide
Mark
here.
is here too.
Yeah, and Mark. Hey, Mark. Why did Jesus show up so late in the Summa? Okay, and I just want to kind of give you a little context. The next slide just shows you the Summa. And how big it is. 5 volumes. I've got the paperback and the hardback copies in my office. But if you look at the Summa, it's broken up into what's called treatises. Okay, so I'm real quickly going to go through the treatises in order. The first treatise is Sacred Doctrine. We've talked about that a number of times, about what that's all about. And basically that our end is supernatural, and the reason why we have sacred doctrine and the church, God through the church teaches us things is because we aren't even able to know our final end without some supernatural help, because it's supernatural by its nature. So then you go into the treatise on the one God, the Holy Trinity, creation, the distinction of things in general, the distinction of good and evil, the angels, a great part of the Summa, the work of the 6 days, the conservation and government of creatures. Okay, so there's your first 10 treatises of the Summa. So we're about a third through the Summa. The name Jesus Christ has never been mentioned. Okay,
Not even for the Holy Trinity?
Well, they'll talk about the second person of the Blessed Trinity, and they'll say the Word of God, but he never refers to Jesus Christ because the Blessed Trinity is separate from Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ is the second person of the Blessed Trinity who took on human nature and assumed human nature and became a human person, fully God, fully man. So yeah, the second person of the Blessed Trinity is eternal. Jesus Christ, in his humanity, was a creature.
Gotcha.
Right.
Okay.
He was created in the womb of Mary at the Annunciation. Right. In his human nature. But and I guess part of this whole thing, I think that the brilliance of Aquinas in building up to Jesus is for us to really realize that if you don't understand divine nature and you don't understand human nature, you're not going to understand how amazing it is that one person could have had both, and how absolutely befuddling it is to think of one person with two natures, and two wills, you know, and a human intellect and a divine intellect, Okay, so then we move on to the next treatises, and here they are. The Last End, Human Acts, Passions, Habits, Virtues, Vices, Law, Grace, Theological Virtues, Cardinal Virtues, Gratuitous Graces. So now we're about 3/4 through the Summa, and no Jesus.
Wow.
Williams.
I am surprised because I actually never thought about the order in which the Summa goes. But yeah, that's interesting.
This is obviously the order he intended and he wrote it in. Is that correct?
Oh yeah.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure. I just wanted to make sure.
Yeah, without a doubt. Now whether or not the name Jesus Christ appeared, in some little way here and there, I can't say.
But there wasn't a focused topic about it.
Right. So then you move on to the last 5 treatises of the Summa, and you have the states of life. Now I highlighted incarnation because this is the first time that the incarnation is really mentioned and highlighted in the Summa. Okay, so it's the 4th to last treatise. I mean, we're almost at the end here. Okay, it's in the third, tertia pars, the third part, and finally, after all this build-up and all this, the virtues, the vices, the habits, the Holy Trinity, the angels, human nature, and then he ends up with the sacraments, the resurrection, and last thing. So the question is, why?
I don't think it's. I feel like it kind of makes sense because if you think about salvation history, for a long time, we were just talking about human nature and all the various things or vices and the angels and stuff like that, and then Jesus came, and so it kind of makes sense chronologically for how it was actually for a lot of people. So it's not. I guess even though it's kind of jarring, why wasn't Jesus talked about before then? It kind of makes sense that he's setting the stage for Jesus.
Yeah, because if somebody came to you. Out of the blue, and they're just I know nothing about Christianity. I don't know why. I don't know why they speak in that accent. I know nothing.
Dang, we've had enough excitement today.
I sound like I'm trying out for The Chosen or something.
Right.
Have you ever listen to all the accents on The Chosen?
There's quite a few cool ones. I
yeah.
thought I also was like, hey, listen, the president of The Chosen's wife said that I should be in the show because of my appearance.
Oh, yeah.
So,
the president of Dallas Jenkins?
No. The president, Brad.
Oh, really? His
Brad
wife said you should be
Yeah,
in?
I ran into it while I was. She and her daughter were walking around, and she's just like, oh.
Yeah, you could fit.
She's like, you should be in the show. And I was like,
Yeah.
just sign me up.
Yeah. I think William should be in, the blonde hair, blue eyed.
Yeah,
but
just
you
needs
never
to sit
know.
out in the sun for a little while.
All right, so.
Sorry, that was a.
Yeah, where did that come from?
You made the accent.
So that goes in the shorts, right?
Yeah. William's job is to find funny
somebody
moments.
comes up and says, I have no idea anything about this Christianity thing. And you probably, and I would probably lead with Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ, true God, true man, who died on the cross to save us from our sins. We are redeemed through the blood, and that would all be right. But Aquinas didn't do that. He didn't start off the Summa by saying, no, we are going to tell you about Jesus Christ. He didn't do that. He waited until almost the very end. So the question is, anybody out there in social media land have any guesses?
So my guess wasn't right.
Remind me. No, your guess was chronology, right?
Okay, yeah. So.
Well, again, this isn't something that Aquinas explained. This is more my theory. So your theory could be just as valid as mine. Okay. But I think I'm right. So anyway, so let me just kind of go through this because boy, we're running out of time. So the first treatise, as I mentioned, Sacred Doctrine, talks about our final end. And we are destined for a supernatural end to which we are not able to get to on our own because we are mere human beings with human nature, and a human nature cannot reach a supernatural end without assistance, right? Okay, so then Aquinas continues, and he has the treatises on the one true God, the Blessed Trinity. Can we prove there's a God? What are God's attributes? What does it mean for him to have knowledge and will and intellect and all this information about God, right? Mm-hmm. And there's and I don't know if you're rolling along with these. Then there's going to be a whole treatise on human nature, and human nature is interesting because we have intellect, we have will. But we also have passions. We have a body, so we're not like God in that regard. So we're corporeal. And then there's, as I mentioned, the other treatise on angels. So in between God and humans are the angels. The angels are like God, being pure spirit. Pure spirit, intellect, will. No bodies, no passions, but they have free will. But then here we are. We're kind of like God. We're kind of like the angels, but we're not God. We're not the angels, right? And then I'll just show a series of really cool, you see all these cool little creatures here? Okay, so then we have all around us all this physical creatures that have bodies, have souls, have passions for the most part. Okay, so we're looking around us and we're like, wow, we're like the angels, we're like God in a sense. We're kind of like the butterfly and the parrot and the lizard, and so we have all these characteristics of all of them. Okay, and so then, as I explained in the videos, that we had the fall. Okay, so the fall of man, the sin of Adam and Eve, original sin comes, concupiscence comes, and so it's a mess. And then everything becomes disordered. We have inordinate passions, we have inordinate desires, and lust, and gluttony, and sloth, and all these things. And so we're a mess. And the angels don't have to deal with this because the angels don't have concupiscence. Adam and Eve didn't even have concupiscence before the fall, right? So we find ourselves with this body, with these passions, with these desires, and so all the sin enters into the world, and all of our temptations, and all the challenges that we have as human beings. Okay, like St. Paul said, there's a battle that's waging within me, right? Each one of us is like our own little battle between our intellect and what we know we want. We know our conscience is telling us what to do, and our body rebelling against it, right? Does that make sense? so, can you repeat that?
Yeah.
Okay. So,
don't ask me to repeat it. That's for sure.
So here's the thing: is that if to understand Jesus Christ, true God and true man, you have to first understand what God is, and then you also must understand what man is. And we understand better what man is in relation to God if we also understand the angels and we understand all these wild and crazy creatures around us, like bugs and butterflies and pigs and squirrels, right? Because they all tell us something about our nature, okay? Because we have in many ways more in common with a squirrel than an angel because they have bodies and they have souls. But we have a lot in common with angels too. And so the only thing, with air quotes, who could redeem all this would be a person that had our human nature and our divine nature. Okay, so you had to bring it together in one person, and that is Jesus Christ. But if you introduce Jesus Christ without first saying, oh, and this is what divine nature is, oh, and this is what human nature is, it doesn't make sense to say, oh, that he's fully human, fully divine. Well, what does divine mean? I don't even know what you mean by divine.
Right.
What is, oh, that he's God?
What does it even mean being human?
Yeah, so you have to build all this up, and then you also have to show the state of mankind and all these, the virtues and the vices and the supernatural gifts, like the gifts of the Holy Spirit, and all this journey that we're on to get to heaven. And then finally, the one that's going to get us there is the only person that can do that really needed to be both human and divine at the same time. So it's kind of like a big build-up, you know, like you do acting, right? And so you build up the play to the very end with a big crescendo.
Right.
And so clearly when Jesus came, to get to your point, in time, in the fullness of time, that brought to a fulfillment what really salvation history had all been about.
Right.
I have a quote here from St. Thomas Aquinas on the purpose of the Summa, or how he was going to do the Summa was, we shall treat first of God, secondly of rational creatures, advance towards God, thirdly of Christ, who as a man is the way by which we tend to God. And I got that from Adrian, by the way.
Oh, okay. Okay. so he's saying the order means
Yes.
something, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Exactly. Okay. All right. Any other quotes?
No, that's the only St. Thomas quote I have.
Oh, okay. Anybody else commenting? Okay, so that's that. And so you guys have any comments on that before we move on to do two articles real quickly?
No, I think it makes sense. I mean, think about every story ever written, you know, they have to build up a certain way. Sometimes it's like 4 or 5 books, full-length novels before you really understand or introduced to some sort of character, and you're like, oh, that makes sense. That fits into place. You know?
Yeah. I was in adoration yesterday at UD, and after Mass, they actually brought out the Blessed Sacrament, and I was thinking, okay, for the only reason this will make sense that I'm, adoring what appears to be a piece of bread is that, first of all, I have to believe in the authority of the Church, who tells me that this is Jesus, right? And then the only reason I would adore this seemingly piece of bread that's actually Jesus is if I understood who Jesus is. Okay, and then that goes back to being true God, true man, and so I don't know. So
you had a slight crisis there in adoration yesterday.
No, that was all good. Okay, so real quickly, whether Christ suffered at a suitable time. Okay, so why? And like I said before, what I'm going to kind of focus on is that his particular age. Okay, so why did he not die when he was 13 or 20 or 64? You want? Did we talk about this?
I want to say we touched on this, and I could be completely misremembering what the outcome of that conversation was.
No, I think that was why our the age
of
in
us.
heaven.
Well,
yeah.
I just didn't know if that was like it would reverse, like I don't know.
It's related. Yeah,
it's related.
Yeah,
so
definitely.
is it basically that 33 is our prime? Does that sound right?
It's what he calls the perfect age.
The perfect age. I've got 8 years to go, guys.
Yeah, and I'm you know how people say I'm over the hill?
Yeah.
Like, what does that mean? Normally that means you've lived as you're at the midpoint of your life.
Right. Yes.
So if I live to be 80, then 40 is the midpoint, right? But Aquinas would say that there's a certain point where, and we all kind of realize this, is that you're continuing to get stronger and stronger. Your body is developing,
right?
And then at some point it starts to degrade, right? I mean, nobody would say that a 90-year-old body is as agile as, say, a 16-year-old, because a 16-year-old, like in your case, 17 years old,
17.
Your body is still strengthening. Your
Right.
body is still. You're probably going to be stronger next year than you were this year.
Most likely,
right?
yeah.
And Sissel as well. Or I won't, because I'm on the downward slide. Okay.
You still got some time. We have some time, William. We gotta
True.
And and kind of, perhaps intellectually as well. You always hear
Sure.
people like, oh, my mind isn't what it used to be.
Yeah.
Okay, so what is that peak? And I think I did share with y'all, and I don't know if you were here or not, William, but like the average age of an NFL football player, the average age of a Major League Baseball player, of NBA, because you would think that would be the peak, and it's typically about 26, 27. That's when they kind of peak out physically. Thomas would say that Jesus, at dying at 33, that was his peak, the physical stature.
And I wonder if it mental, because you talk about your brain's not fully developed sometimes, like I can't remember if it's for men or for women at 25, and there's like a lot of things. I feel like you're still
I mean, there have been times that I'm like, I think my mind's starting to not be so good, but generally speaking, I don't generally feel
the thing is, I feel like that now, and I'm only 24, so that's just concerning to me.
You're gonna be senile by the time you're 30.
Yesterday I did not put the lid on the coffee bean grinder.
Oh, really? Did it go everywhere?
And it was so early in the morning. I was just like, oh. And then this morning, I was like, I remembered to put it on. And my sister was like, good job. You did it. Proceeded to not put like a little K-cup in the coffee thing and just made hot water and milk.
Oh, my. Wow.
Yeah. Not good.
That does not say
good.
well.
Let's see. I love these topics, tiptoeing around and avoid actually becoming a heretic. Is that what Adrian said?
That was from a while ago.
Oh, that was a while back. Okay.
So about the timing, though, real quick. I don't know if you're talking about like the timing in history yet. Are we talking about that yet, or not really touching on that today?
I'll be honest with you. I kind of had to throw this together pretty quickly today because everything that was going on. But he touches on a lot. He touches on why in history, why that like time, like 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of Jewish liturgical significance. It's actually an article that would be a lot of fun to really dig into, but I only honed in on one little part of it for the sake of brevity for this show. But did you want to mention about?
Well, Buddy had made a comment. That's why I was saying. He said, didn't a lot of what happened to Jesus in the timing was to fulfill the prophecy of the Old Testament to prove he was the Messiah? And that was something similar to what I was thinking. So.
Yeah, and I think also Aquinas is going to say that the world had to kind of wallow in sin for a while because, if Jesus had come, like 2 weeks after Adam and Eve's fall, there really hadn't become as much need. Where,
right?
I don't know. I mean, you look around right now and think like, okay, you ever hear people say, "Jesus, please come," because it's like the world has gotten so bad. It's just we just need you to get here and ASAP.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, all right. So let's see. So here's what he says: Christ willed to suffer while yet young for 3 reasons. First of all, to commend the more his love by giving up his life for us when he was in his most perfect state of life. Okay, that's like that priest friend of mine who said he wants to be martyred, but he wants to be martyred, at 101 years old on his deathbed.
Right,
that's when he wants somebody to come and kill him so he can go straight to heaven.
And just like suffocate him with a pillow. Nothing wild.
Yeah, but I mean, who wants to die at the prime of their life,
Right.
So secondly, because it was not becoming for him to show any decay of nature, nor to be subject to disease. Okay, that's the thing, is that if he's on the upward, trajectory, and if 33, let's just say hypothetically, is where people start to, slide down physically, Thomas is saying, well, it would not be appropriate for Jesus to his physical body to ever start showing decay. Thirdly, that by dying and rising at an early age, Christ might exhibit beforehand in his own person the future condition of those who rise again. Okay, now this is what you're referring to. Hence it is written, until we all meet into the unity of faith and of the knowledge of the Son of God, unto a perfect man, unto the measure of the age of fullness of Christ. So he's talking about the perfect man and what age that is. It is going to be interesting, if through God's grace we get into heaven, and let's say the wrecking ball comes right now and destroys the office, and we all die, right?
Man, our ratings would go up so high. Our viewership would just like shoot up.
But if all 4 of us died, according to Aquinas, and then let's say we all are in a state of grace, we get to heaven, we skip purgatory, okay? And all of a sudden we're in heaven. Well, Thomas would say that all 4 of us would be at 33 years of age. So William would have aged. I would have gone down.
Oh, wow.
Sister would have gone up. Diane would have Well, I won't give Diane's age, but she would have gone down a little bit, let's just say. Okay, well, that'd be cool. I mean, all of a sudden, we're all at the same age.
Yeah.
And then we'd have the beatific vision. We'd have minds like angelic minds, and we'd pretty much know all things. And boy, we'd do well in trivia, wouldn't we?
Ah, man, I never forget anything.
Yeah.
I know all the phobias.
I asked the question. You both get it instantly. You tie every time.
The game would not be quite as entertaining, but...
No, not at all. So, all right, so next slide, whether Christ suffered in a suitable place. So he's going to give 4 reasons why Christ died in Jerusalem. You guys want to take any guesses? Why Jerusalem? Why not Iraq? Why not Egypt?
I want to say this has something, again, kind of to do with the prophecy, because Jerusalem, what was Jerusalem known for? Because Bethlehem was the city of David.
Yeah, speaking
in the
of
house of bread, yeah.
Right,
the
yeah.
house of bread
Speaking
is-
of Bethlehem, before Christmas, I remember I mentioned why he was born in Bethlehem rather than, Rome, because he wanted to be born poor in spirit and to kind of model that, the poverty and living in poverty and everything. And I feel like it might be something similar here, dying in Jerusalem rather than Rome or Egypt. I mean, I don't know, like how poor Jerusalem was compared to like in Egypt or Rome, but maybe that has something to do with it. Something about the it's not as like, it's kind of a city under Roman legions and
like a humble kind of
right, yeah.
Yeah, it was a little city. Yeah, it wasn't like a New York City and big lights. It'd be like going to like some little town in Kansas or something.
Right. I mean, Jerusalem was probably a fairly large city at the time, but like it's still under like persecution, if you want to say.
Yeah, I think
the Romans.
I don't think that's one of the ones he's going to mention, but it's a nice, also ran in the contest. No, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay, better than the one Sissel gave.
What did I get?
That's the point. No, you're next. Do you want to give it a shot?
And this is for
Why Jerusalem?
I honestly, it's one of those things where I feel like I've heard people discuss this before, and I'm going to go back to, I think it had something to do with the prophecy.
Okay. Oh, that's right. You did say one,
that's my thinking.
Okay. All right. So the prophecy. Okay. Let's see what the actual answer is, and we are going to go to that right now. And the first one, he says, first of all, because Jerusalem was God's chosen place for the offering of sacrifices.
Oh my gosh.
To himself. Okay.
That's
and
really
these
obvious.
figurative sacrifices foreshadowed Christ's passion, which is a true sacrifice. Okay. Then he quotes Ephesians 5:2. He hath delivered himself for us an oblation and a sacrifice to God for an odor of sweetness. Hence, Bede says, when the passion drew nigh, our Lord willed to draw nigh to the place of the passion, that is to say, to Jerusalem, whither he came 5 days before the Pasch. Just as, according to legal precept, the Paschal lamb was led to the place of immolation 5 days before the Pasch. So that makes sense. Okay, that's where they had all the sacrifices, right?
They all traveled there, a few times.
Yeah. So you had to. I think you were required to, right? Okay, next one. Because the virtue of his passion was to be spread over the whole world, he wished to suffer in the center of the habitable world, that is Jerusalem.
I also thought it was that too. I thought it had something to do with the center, but I was like, am I wrong?
Yeah. So if the word's going to get out that, oh, wow, Jesus Christ.
You want to have an epicenter.
Yeah, you want to be where, like the reporters are. And I guess there would have been people.
And then go out from there.
Probably,
yeah. So that makes sense also. All right, third one, because it was specially in keeping with his humility that he chose the most shameful manner of death. So likewise, it was part of his humility that he did not refuse to suffer in so celebrated a place. Hence, Pope Leo says, he who had taken upon himself the form of a servant chose Bethlehem for his nativity and Jerusalem for his passion. So I think that kind of refers to what
something
you're talking
along the lines
about.
of that. Yeah.
The humility of being born in a small place and dying because, if you were going to get hung or burnt at the stake, would you rather be burned like in the middle of Times Square in New York with all these people around, or would you rather be in like some little town where nobody sees you? I mean, it'd be more humiliating, I think, to have be in a populated area because all the people are watching you, right?
Right.
Yeah.
I'd say so.
The way he died was horrible.
Right. Yeah.
All right. Finally, he willed to suffer in Jerusalem, where the chief priest dwelt, to show that the wickedness of his slayers arose from the chiefs of the Jewish people. Hence it is written, they're assembled together in the city against thy holy child Jesus, whom thou hast anointed, Herod and Pontius Pilate with the Gentiles and the people of Israel. So, all right, so that's the last one. So that highlights the wickedness of the people that put him to death. All right, covered a lot of ground there today.
Yeah.
And we are at quarter till. I don't know if anybody is still commenting out there in social media land or not, but we thank you for watching and paying attention. We've covered quite a bit of ground here. Any other comments out there, Sissel?
I don't think we've missed anything.
Okay,
Unless
all
there's
right.
someone on Twitter we don't know about.
Highly unlikely.
I don't think so.
Highly unlikely. Okay. Okay. So, Adrian's still there. Okay. Thanks, Adrian. All right. So let's move on to the next phase.
It's that time of the show where we give Dave Summa to think about and laugh about.
And he gives it right back.
All right. So, William always comes with a joke.
I have also come with
Sissel
jokes today.
has a joke.
Jokes.
And I actually have some trivia that is somewhat related to what we are talking about today, kind of tangentially related, let's just say. So, all right, hit us, William.
Cool.
That better be good.
Yeah, you better hope so. Okay. What did the triangle say to the circle?
What did the triangle say to the circle?
You don't have a point.
You're close. You're close.
What's the point?
Boy, what's the point of you?
Where's the point?
No, it has point in it, but that's not exactly what the answer is.
You don't have a point. Okay, all right.
You're really close.
Oh, come on.
Just say it in a different
Can
way.
you get around to the point? No.
No.
Okay. What's the point of you?
Not exactly.
What did the circle say to the triangle? Is that right?
Yeah, I get
What did the triangle say to the circle?
Triangle say to the circle.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get your point. Wait.
You guys are so close.
Oh, for heaven's sake.
Yeah, I can't.
What is it?
I can't get your point. Oh, no, because you don't. I don't understand you because you don't have a point.
No, not exactly.
Okay,
right.
I'm getting worse.
Okay. Yeah.
Remember that game? You're getting warmer,
Yeah.
getting colder.
Hot and cold.
Okay.
Yeah. The answer is you're pointless.
Ay, Chihuahua.
Yeah.
Okay.
Very close.
Pointless. Wow. Never say that to somebody.
Yeah. Unless it's a circle.
Oh, this is a circle, yeah.
That's a circle. And you're a triangle.
But probably not talking to circles.
So
Okay.
I found this list of the hilarious Catholic jokes that everyone should memorize.
Okay.
So I was just going to read, I think about 5 of them. I'm pretty sure I might have miscounted.
And by the way, don't you think everybody should have about 5 jokes just
On the ready? Yeah.
At the ready.
I have the worst jokes the worst ones are the ones I memorize. Are stuck in my head.
Don't memorize the bad ones.
I don't, like, literally, if someone says, Sissel, tell a joke, I'll be like, a blonde walked into a bar. You thought she would have ducked. That's literally all I can think of. That's it.
No, say it again.
A blonde walked into a bar.
Blonde.
You thought
okay.
she would have ducked.
Yeah.
It's so bad. Anyhow, sorry. So these are some jokes. So maybe these
Should
would
I
be
tell
the
my
5.
database joke?
No, please.
For the
We've-
fifth
I
week in
think
a row?
I think about 4 times this year so far. It's okay.
I know. But you know what's the worst is, and I know, I almost called you MC. So you've MC'd events before, but like if you're MCing and something happens, like the speaker you're about to introduce, he ran to the restroom. Can you kill about 5 minutes up there? Oh man, that's when you're like up there. Well, hey buddy, we're having a great night, aren't we? And don't forget about where the restrooms are. And and you're just like, man, I wish I had a few jokes right now.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a horrible feeling because you're like, this is when I need a few jokes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, there's another version of it that's probably the better one, but I can never remember it. Is Adrian of my joke that I said is 2 guys walk into a bar, the third one ducks, but still it's still pretty bad. So here's some hilarious, supposedly Catholic ones. So I'm gonna read, and I want you all to say we're gonna rate them. Do we think it's good or not? Okay. Man says, "What is 1,000,000 years like to you?" And God says, "Like 1 second." Man says, "What is $1,000,000 like to you?" God, "Like 1 penny." Man, "Can I have a penny?" God, "Just a second."
Yeah, that's good. That's good. I like that one.
Why did the priest giggle during his homily?
Why did the priest giggle during his homily? I don't know.
I'm not sure.
He had mass hysteria.
All right. I like the first one better. But,
okay, so certainly we got the first one's number 1, and the other one's further down. Okay. I was going to tell you about the drama at the convent, but then I remembered it's none of your business. Sorry, that's so bad.
Okay, that was bad.
That's
I'll
lower
have to
for
do
me.
thumbs down on that
Yeah,
one.
that's what that was.
So,
Okay, hold on a second.
So I think we're 1 for 3.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. Jesus was standing over the woman caught in adultery and challenged the crowd that he who is without sin cast the first stone. Suddenly, a rock hits him in the back of his head. Jesus turns and exclaims, "Mom!"
I've heard that one. I knew that was. Why didn't it hit him? It hit the woman. It hit him in the back of the head.
Yeah. Well, no. I think she was just throwing it at, but he just happened to be in the way. I think.
Okay. Yeah, that's good. It almost is a little like I don't know.
Yeah, it could be border on. Yeah.
Yeah, you probably wouldn't want to tell that at the the MC.
No,
event.
you would. That's not one to keep in the back. Okay.
Did I tell you the one I told in front of Father Mitch Pacwa?
No.
I was emceeing an event, and Father Mitch is a Jesuit priest, right? Mm-hmm. And I got up there. It was one of those moments, and I told this joke and about the Franciscan and the Jesuit. Wait. Oh wait. Okay. So let me.
Oh, is it the one about them changing the light bulb?
No.
Okay, that's a great one.
No, wait, hold on. Oh gosh. Well, okay, go ahead. I'm going to think.
Okay,
of
you think about it. Okay, and then Adrian's also put a few in the chat that I'll read. Okay, a priest was driving and gets stopped for speeding. The state trooper smells alcohol on the priest's breath and then sees an empty wine bottle on the floor of the car. He says, "Father, have you been drinking?" "Just water," says the priest. The trooper says, "Then why do I smell wine?" The priest looks at the bottle and says, "Praise be to God, he's done it again."
Yeah, I like that one. Okay. I remember my joke. Okay, so there's a Jesuit priest and a Franciscan priest, and somebody comes up to the two of them and says, "Dear fathers, how many novenas do I need to say?" This is actually very appropriate for today to get a Mercedes Benz. Okay, like I want to be able to get a Mercedes Benz. Mm-hmm. And so the Franciscan, known for their great poverty, looks at the person and says, "What is a Mercedes Benz?" And the Jesuit looks at him and says, "What's a novena?"
So bad. It's always the Jesuits get the fun end of the joke every time. Every single one. There's so many of those ones where a bunch of them are gathered and something happens and it's hilarious. There's a great one about them changing a light bulb. But Adrian did one that was, why did the Catholic bring a ladder to the church?
So he could get higher.
To reach the higher notes during the hymns.
Oh, okay.
Then why did the priest go to art school?
I have no idea.
He wanted to learn how to draw people to church. Why did the nun become a farmer?
Why?
He wanted to sow the seeds of faith.
Oh, a lot of puns here.
Yeah, there are a lot.
Yeah.
Anyhow.
I still think I like that second one the best. The one about I'll tell you in a second. Yeah, I think that's probably my favorite.
I think I like the first one the most. Yeah.
Yeah, the first one. Which one was that?
Yeah, which one was that? I can't even remember.
Is it the mass hysteria?
No, that was the third.
No.
The third. The first one was.
Just a second. That one. Oh.
No, not those.
Oh, I have no idea. I've lost track at this point.
Okay, so here's the trivia, and this is going to be one of those things where we'll go back and forth, and okay, so we talked about Jerusalem being the place where Jesus died, right? So what we're going to do is, according to this one website, this isn't necessarily right or wrong, but you're going to have to guess the 10 most famous man-made landmarks in the world. Okay.
Are we just going back and forth and we're not shouting them out, you're just one at a time.
Yeah, and let me see. So we're talking about the 10 according to this list. I'm not saying there's any and some of them are
and they're man-made, you said.
Yes. Yeah, well, that's what it said. Let me see.
Are they actually? Because there's a lot of non-man-made ones too.
Okay, let me see if any of them are not man-made. Man-made. I mean, if
we'll just go on that premise, and if we'll just give you the cone of shame if that's not the case.
Okay, I think they're all man-made. Okay, so let's defer to youthfulness and let William go first. So,
are you calling me old?
Okay, William, famous man-made landmarks. And Diane, do you want to play? Okay, so Diane and then Cecil, and then I'm sorry, William, Cecil, Diane. Okay, so William, go ahead. Famous landmarks.
Let's see.
Man-made.
Okay. Yellowstone Park, no, National Yellowstone Park in Wyoming or wherever that is.
But that wouldn't be man-made.
Oh,
right. Man-made.
So it has to be like a structure of some sort.
Okay. I see.
Yeah,
okay.
something man-made.
So Mount Rushmore.
Okay,
Well, that's a good guess.
That's a very good guess. Let me see. I'm sorry, I should have. Yes, a couple of these. One of these I've never ever heard of.
Oh.
No, that is not.
Hmm.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
Okay.
The Eiffel Tower.
The Eiffel Tower. That's actually number one. Yes,
Oh,
the
sweet.
Eiffel Tower. So if you're scoring at home, Cecil just got a point. Okay, Diane.
The Taj Mahal.
Yes.
Ooh, good one,
yes,
Diane.
that
Good
is,
one.
Diane with her Indian ancestry got the Taj Mahal. Boy, I should have organized this one.
I was going to say, this is going well.
This may take a while.
I can tell more jokes in the meantime.
I'm so sorry. But, okay, Taj Mahal in India, which means crown of palaces in the Persian language, stands on the riverbanks of the Yamuna River in Agra in northern India. Okay, so all right, okay, so I can throw this one away.
All right, William.
Okay, that makes it a little bit simpler.
Big Ben in London.
Not a bad guess, but unfortunately, not one of the top 10.
Okay, the Great Wall of China.
That is the number 2.
Oh, that's gonna be my next guess.
Okay. All right, so the Great Wall of China is definitely one of them. All right, Diane.
I'm not going to be looking at the comments anymore. I'm pretty sure some people are
the
commenting.
White House.
That is not one of the 10 greatest landmarks, but that's not a bad guess. Nothing to be ashamed of there. Okay. There's a couple of them that I'm very surprised are not on here, but okay. So
yeah, that's what you got to guess.
Back to William. Okay, and so you guys are not looking at the
I'm not looking at the comments because I think there are some...
Mark, you got one right.
I think I know.
Mark got another one right.
Oh,
Mark got a third one right.
Okay, I got it definitely not. I'm not looking, by the way.
Yeah,
I've not
Mark,
looked for a while. Hold on, just...
Okay, that last one was not on there, Mark, but Mark got 3 of them.
Oh, shoot. Okay,
so
William.
do not look
I'm
at
not
that.
looking. I'm not looking.
Okay.
I'm on Facebook, so I don't see those comments.
Who are we, William?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm still thinking about where.
I have like 2 guesses.
Okay.
I don't know. After that, I might be out of ideas.
Okay.
We'll see.
A couple of these are pretty tough, but
are they?
Okay.
So
I don't know if this one counts as man-made, but the Great Pyramid in Egypt.
Oh, that's a good one. That was one of my guesses. I was going to say that was one of my guesses. Dang
yes,
it.
the Great Pyramid of Giza in Egypt, near Cairo, is one of the 7 wonders of the ancient world, and only one of these ancient world wonders still exists.
Yep.
The pyramids are made of stone and bricks and stand near Cairo, which is the capital of Egypt.
All right.
All right, William is in the hunt. Okay, so now we go to Cecil.
The Leaning Tower of Pisa.
Yes. The Leaning Tower of Pisa is one of Italy's major tourist attractions. The freestanding bell tower, the Pisa Cathedral, was built over almost 200 years when it was finished in 13.
See, at this point, there's 2, but I just don't know if they're. I have 2 more ideas, but I don't know if they're in the list.
So Mark has he guessed.
Which one did he get right?
He guessed pyramids.
The Colosseum in Rome.
He guessed the Leaning Tower of Pisa. That's a very good guess, but is not.
It's not on it.
It's not one of them. No. Let me just make sure because I have my many sheets here. Mark definitely got one more of them that has not been mentioned yet. So okay, we're back to you, William. A couple, and we may get to the point where you're probably not going to guess them, but
I have 2 more. When we get to that point, can I just guess a couple that I have because I'm curious.
You want okay, William, you can surpass Diane for second place.
Yeah, if I could only.
Let me guess how many of them. One of them is. Yeah, the rest of them are except for one of them.
Can I get a hint of what country it's in? Or one of them is in?
We're not. We'll do one more round and then I'll start giving hints.
Okay, sure.
But now
I'll pass for now then.
Okay, pass.
Oh, I'm going between 2.
Well, go ahead and you can do both.
Okay, either the Statue of Liberty or Sydney Opera House.
Whoa!
Are they both on the list?
Yes. Wow. I have never heard of the Sydney Opera House.
You've never heard of the Sydney Opera House?
No. So Cecil has seen. Okay, Statue of Liberty 92 meters, 305 feet high, made of iron structure with copper skin. Built in France in 1884. The monument was then disassembled into 350 pieces and packed into 214 crates. Boy, we can relate to that, can we? Okay, so
how come the Statue of Liberty is on there, but Mount Rushmore's not?
I don't know.
I think more people have heard of the
seen-
Statue of Liberty.
Yeah, 'cause
probably.
It's also in a more populous area.
Yeah.
You know, it's in New York, and
People fly in and they can see it.
yeah.
But,
Have you ever been on a plane and seen it?
I haven't. My brother has though.
Okay, yeah, the Sydney. Boy,
Opera
I
House.
am so impressed. The Sydney
Yeah, it's in-
Opera. Have you ever heard of that?
It's a very interestingly shaped building.
In fact, right when the show ends, I'm going to call it up on my computer screen.
And
Is
look
that-
at it, yeah.
Disney World.
Built in
There you go.
Australia's biggest city, is famous for its roofs, architecture resembling shells or
Yeah.
sails. The Opera House was designed by Jean Utzon from Denmark, and it was built between 1959 and 1973. It's interesting because people in Denmark are like, dude, why didn't you build it here, man? It's like the French, man. Why didn't they just keep their Statue of Liberty?
Yeah.
They have one.
Okay.
It's not the same one. They do
Well,
have a
they've got the liberty, equality, fraternity nonsense.
Yeah, that's no.
Okay, so now we're down to 3. And
Do you think we're gonna know any of these?
well, you surprised me.
Okay.
Now I've heard of 2 of them. One of them,
You have no
you'll
idea.
say like, oh yeah, I've definitely heard of that, but I didn't know it'd be one on the list. I mean, yeah.
Can you start giving country?
Okay,
hints?
the 3 countries, Russia, Peru, and Chile.
Oh, the
Is it
Russia one's
Saint-
on my tongue.
Is it St. Peter's something or another? No, is it a church? Is it a church in Russia?
No.
No, dang
No?
it. Okay, that's what you were thinking too.
Yeah,
There's like a
that's what I
really
was
pretty
thinking.
church, an ornate church.
Yes.
Okay, so
you said Russia, and
it's a very, very famous building in Russia. As soon as I say it, you'll say, of course.
Huh.
Oh, I feel like I just watched a movie that featured this building
Yeah.
in it. Darn, it was
Yeah.
a Mission Impossible movie.
You want me to tell you?
give me
Yeah.
a second. I might get it.
Oh, that's so
let's
annoying. I
see,
just watched a movie with this.
Oh yeah, that's
You know what, Manny? Do you want to come phone a
I'm
friend?
kind of surprised the great temple in
What?
Jerusalem is not on this list.
Oh, it's not.
Yeah.
Do you know a famous man-made landmark in
Russia.
Russia?
Famous building.
Oh, it's a
Uh, okay, I'm going to tell you all for the sake of
Okay,
time.
go ahead.
Okay.
but
the Kremlin.
The Kremlin. Oh, that's
It's
that's
part
what
of
it
the
is.
Kremlin complex and is located next to Red
Literally
Square.
was in a movie I just
and
watched a
St.
week ago.
Basil's Cathedral in Russia's capital city of Moscow. Okay, how about the one in Peru?
I'm not gonna know this one.
This means old mountain in the local Quechua language. It's the famous site in Peru. It's also referred to as the lost city of the Incas. The
Machu Picchu.
Machu Picchu,
Yes, there
yeah.
you go, Diane. Machu Picchu.
That also would not have immediately come to my head as one of them.
This is huge. The huge statues on the Polynesian island of Rapa Nui. The island is commonly called Easter Island,
yes.
and it belongs to Chile. The Easter Island is more than 2,200 miles away from Chile in the middle of the Pacific Ocean. It's called Moai. Moai.
Moai. Okay, yeah, I've heard of that as well. I just couldn't remember the name.
Yeah, but the temple in Jerusalem should have been on the list.
There's several that could have been.
You said Mount Rushmore, right?
yeah.
That's big, but
So Mark got the Kremlin.
Oh, Mark got Kremlin,
Yeah,
okay.
I was so annoyed. I literally watched a Mission Impossible movie a week or two ago, and they were in the Kremlin.
oh really?
And I remember I couldn't remember the name of it though.
Yeah.
Oh well.
Yeah. So Leaning Tower of Pisa, which I didn't realize was associated with a church. That's part of a Catholic church. You know, just as a side note, my daughter is leaving for Italy and Greece in a week or so, and I'm so excited because all the sites that even though it's a school, tour. It's like everything over there it's related to the church. They're going to it's not even a religious pilgrimage, but everything like
Gonna
they're
have
going
some
to are
connection.
like connections to the Catholic Church. So
Yeah.
I think it's hard to take a tour of the world and not come
yeah,
back
especially
prouder,
over there, yeah.
prouder to be Catholic. You
Right,
know,
right,
and
yeah.
I mean, you look at the Sistine Chapel and think this was inspired by the Catholic Church. And Michelangelo and everything. All right. Well, it was a good show. It's been a fun day. And thank you, Diane and William and Sissel. And thanks, everybody, for watching and contributing. And again, congratulations to Mr. Oh, gosh, I forgot his name, Flavio Mezza, the the winner of the Mercedes-Benz. And thanks for everybody who supported the GRN. God bless you. See you maybe next week. Bye-bye.
Thanks for joining us for Back to the Father. And don't forget, the glory of God is the human person fully alive. If you have comments about the show, email Dave Palmer at grnonline.com.